What's going on, everybody? Welcome to the Notorious HFL podcast. I'm your host, the Notorious HFL on podcast, huge fat loser on all social media platforms, and Aaron Lohman in real life. As always, before we get underway with my awesome guest here, who's actually one of my sponsors and one of my best friends, I'm going to give a shout out to my sponsors who make this possible. G2 Training is proud to offer a 15% discount to all brothers and sisters in blue. Police officers are near and dear to their hearts, playing a part in working and preserving their physical health is a priority to them. G2 Training's owners are George Mifsud. If you recognize the name, it's because he's been around the NYPD community for a long time. He's a retired captain, co-owner of the Key Promotional School, and he's on the board of directors for the Finest Financial Credit Union. Throughout his 25-year career, he saw many cops with himself like fall out of shape, not take care of themselves, take care of their health, and he wants to make sure that they do the same thing. The stressful conditions of work and all this other stuff that comes into our lives. He just wants to make sure that we take care of ourselves and live a long, healthy retirement. The second trainer is Gregoria Meyer. She's worked in the fitness industry for 17 years, helping people improve their minds and bodies. Clients make consistent weekly appointments with them, and they're led through exercises that strengthen the body inside and out, are educated on how to live a healthy, nutritious, stress-free lifestyle. In 2020, her son started the NYPD in the COVID class and headed out to the streets during the protests, during all this stress, and she saw how much stress it took on him firsthand, and made sure that throughout that process, she kept him grounded. She made sure that he kept working out and kept maintaining his physical and mental health, and she wants to help other police officers do that. They want to play a good part in helping you guys collect that pension at the end of your career. So make an appointment at G2 Training, and they offer personalized training programs structured towards meeting your goals, nutritional advice. Make it a priority. Text them or call them at 516-286-6300. That's 516-286-6300. They're located in Syosset, New York. You save lives, we save lives too. The second sponsor is my buddy Raymond Kenny, certified public accountant. It's already March. You better thought about getting those taxes done, okay? Get those taxes done. Don't get locked up for tax fraud. All right, call my buddy Raymond Kenny, 516-493-2967 or rkcpany.com, rkcpany.com. Check them out, all right? Don't get arrested, all right? You want to do those taxes. And my third and final and best sponsor happens to be sitting right across from me is my friend Frank Voce, Rep for Responders. Guys, 501c3 organization. We'll get into this whole thing about what this organization does, but for right now, I just want to talk about two of their events coming up. One event, which we'll talk about in a little while also, is this thing called a beefsteak. It's some Jersey thing. Jersey people love it. You get a slice of steak on a cracker or a piece of bread or whatever, and it's pretty much an all-you-can-eat sirloin steak dinner. It's a good way to get together and benefit first responder mental health, all the stuff that they do, military, EMS, fire, dispatchers, corrections. If you wear a uniform, they help you out. All right, that's on April 27th from 6 to 10 p.m. Please contact them at repsforresponders.org or on their social media, Reps for Responders. Their second event is on April 26th. It's the Echelon Front Reps for Responders roll call event. It's a good opportunity to talk about leadership, to talk about current things happening in the first responder community, so that we deal with the current environment and check in with each other, check in with what's going on. And please contact repsforresponders.org to fill a seat. That's at the Bergen County Police Academy in Mahwah, New Jersey. Reps for Responders loves New Jersey. New Jersey loves Reps for Responders. But without further ado, the person sitting across from me, one of my best friends, CEO, the guy, the man from Reps for Responders, Frank Voce. Frank, how's it going?
Hey, buddy. Thank you for having me on. I appreciate it.
Yeah, dude, of course, man.
Yeah.
You're one of the first people I thought of having on. Like I said, I had Nick because I didn't, Nick's one of my best friends too. And then the guy from Coastal, who you just came from.
Today, yeah, great guy.
And because he was the one who's like, yo, you should start your podcast again. And I'm like, okay, cool. And, always you like breaking my balls to start my podcast too. It's just, we all make excuses for why we can't do certain things. But and my podcast is one of them, just making tons of excuses on why I couldn't do it. So I was fortunate enough to sit down with a guy, Steve Moriello, who he's an inspector on our job. We actually recorded a podcast on the studio right behind us. And I was like, wow, this place is awesome. This is a good spot. This is where I'm going to kick it off. Here. So, Frank, listen, tell us about Reps for Responders. How did you start Reps for Responders, and what is it?
Okay. Before I start that, thanks for having me on, having me travel across this one island. I feel like it's like 6 or 7 different islands here. But a big shout out to Big George for, I was laughing here, but it was a good laugh for, the key, right? And then I took that very serious, and as you know, and was able to pass that test, and that was great, So thank you, George.
Yeah.
So Reps for Responders, what is it? It's a nonprofit, 501c3. The main mission is to increase the emotional and physical survivability skills of first responders so we can make responsible choices while we're working and at home, and number one, prevent suicide. And that was created in March of 2020. It was really created like the start of 2020 by the time I got all the paperwork and everything and that. So in a nutshell, a very loose nutshell, right? That's the mission statement. So you want me to get into how it came about?
Yeah, why'd you start it?
Why did I start it? Because I didn't want anyone to, the word suffer, right? I didn't want anyone to suffer the way that I suffered. I do believe suffering is a choice. That's what the Buddha said, right? So I do believe at some point, and we can get into suffering and all that, that it becomes, when it starts to take over, there's got to be a point where you can say, like, enough is enough. Like, I'm just not taking this anymore. Today I'm going to decide not to suffer, or at least I'm not going to suffer for like 15 minutes. Let's just start there, right? So I got on the job at 2015, and I'm here to represent Frank, Rep for Responders. I'm not here to represent any department or anything like that. So I got on the NYPD in 2015. 2018, I left the department. I went to a department in Rockland, and that's where my world turned upside down. Stranger Things. I felt like I was stuck in the upside down. And that's when, I guess, real world really hit me. Time to grow up, Frank. It really helped me face that my life is not just about working out, predominantly powerlifting at that time, and being a cop and drinking, right? That's where I was headed. I was just headed to working out, drinking, and being a cop. And when I mean drinking, my drinking career started on my days off, or we would say RDOs. And then 2018, I couldn't get out of my own head, and I couldn't really make a decision. I just felt like you get the Willy Wonka golden ticket. I'll explain it for the Long Island guys. It's like a guy leaving and going to Nassau or Suffolk, right? Like, you made it. You're closer to home. It's more money, probably like safer, right? Like a lot less. Obviously you still are a cop and you have a hard and violent calls and jobs, but in the area where I worked in the South Bronx was, you see that a lot. And then coming here was like a different police world, because when you're in like an A house, you would call it, where you deal with robberies, shootings, EDPs, like constantly. So like you get good at that police work. And then it's just a different type of police work. That's the way that I can explain it. So when I went there, I'm like, man, like, do I want to do solo patrol for 20 years in my hometown? I felt like I couldn't escape. I had this incident where I put a lot of pressure on myself, and then I just couldn't get out of my own head. And of course, I started coping with drinking, and I'm a cop. I can't ask for help, and we hear that all the time. And I just got to this department. How can I say that I'm feeling this way? There's no way. So that happened for a while, and then I was like a solid 185. I'm 178 right now. I was a solid 185, and I went to like 165, man. I just stopped eating. I stopped working out. I remember my diet then was literally a green tea from Dunkin', and it was like a protein shake. That's what I really ate for a long time every day. And I saw myself withering away, and it was affecting my relationship, which then led to my girlfriend at the time to leave the relationship because she was getting sick, and she thought she could take care of me. And then it was kind of like, well, you're not my mother. You're not supposed to take care of me in this aspect. You're supposed to be my partner and help me guide along. But there's only so much someone can do. No matter how much you really like love someone, you can't love someone so much that you think that love is going to make them change. And it's really hard to accept that. So I ended up seeing a therapist that ultimately, as time went on, was one of the best things I ever did. A great guy. But anyway, then I saw a nurse practitioner, which didn't work out so well in psychiatry. So I went on medication, Prozac and Seroquel, and that was the first time I ever I had suicidal ideations. Like literally in the middle of the night, I was like, should I just kill myself? Like this is voices were going in my head, and I wasn't hearing voices. It was just like the conversations I was having throughout the day and about this decision just replaying over and over, and I became like obsessive about it. Like the same like 2 or 3 songs on the jukebox over and over again. So then I got put on like Zoloft, and then I was like, what? I don't want to feel like this. I feel like I was like a zombie, or like my nervous system was really, really like I had no control. So I was like, I'd rather just drink. So obviously what I did wrong was cut it out. And like not even say wrong, I made a decision, right? Learning experience. I cut it cold turkey, and then I would drink, and then I would go back and forth. It was a cycle. And then after that Zoloft, I was on Wellbutrin, and then something like out of a draw, take Rexulti, and then like, I don't know, in like a 6-month span, I was on like 5-6 different medications trying to find what worked best. And then I just decided to leave the department I went. When you leave the city, you have up to a year to go back. It was 10 months. I went back. I was like Walking Dead. Everyone in my command was like, holy shit, what happened to you, man? Like, you're all right? It was that bad? I'm like, it just wasn't for me. And then I really couldn't function. So my parents kind of forced me. My aunt's a doctor, and I walked into Presbyterian, and that was it in my mind. I'll never be a cop again. It's over. PBA came, took my gun and shield, and went to Presbyterian. They're like, sign this piece of paper. Signed the piece of paper, and I signed it. And then the next day, I go to a Westchester center, and then I feel like, I go to this center, and I felt like, wait, I'll wait for this line. So I went there, and I'm like, I knew exactly what it was, but I didn't know at the time when I signed the paper. I'm in the psych ward. Holy shit, I can't escape, and I'm like in Westchester right now. I feel like this is going to be messed up, but like, I feel like I'm part of the X-Men, like, so I'm here, and I couldn't leave because I told them suicidal ideation. So I was there for 2 weeks, and I left. And then when I left, I did the Joker laugh, and I'm kind of like, oh man, nothing worked, nothing's changed, right? I don't like cops, a lot of people, but especially cops, we think we control everything. Like we want it like right now in the present moment. Like we want to change now, and it has to happen now. And life doesn't work like that. So I went in there, went back, and the people in there were just like, dude, you're back. Like, and I'm talking about other patients with me, like really sick people, schizophrenia, psychosis. I would walk on the hallway, maybe the size of this room, maybe like 2 or 3 sizes of this room was the actual like floor of the psych ward. And she'd walk on a book on her head, and we just walk up and down, and she'd talk and say, be careful what you say. The Russians are listening. But she was really smart. There's a lot of smart people in there, but they were really sick, really sick. So I was like, oh man, like this is real. Like I can't leave, medication time, meal time. We went outside twice a week, played basketball for 30 minutes. So it was like a little prison. I can't tell anyone like I'm a cop. There's a few people in there that was more stable than others, and we had conversations about life and things like that. So I told them what's going on, drinking. They're like, why didn't you tell us this in the first place? I'm like, I don't know. I didn't think it was a big deal, but also I didn't want to be deemed like an alcoholic, because, an alcoholic is just the guy you help on the street that's homeless, or a paper bag and all that, right? I'm completely wrong. So they gave me a book, and they're like, here's this big book. And I'm like, okay, it's a big book. What's it called? And they're like, there's a big book of Alcoholics Anonymous. I'm like, oh shit, okay, read the first part of the big book, Doctor's Opinion. And it took me so long to read it because, I don't know, maybe it's like 20 pages, but I couldn't focus. So I read it, and to this day, I still remember that they describe alcohol and to the brain, and if you want to call it alcohol use disorder, what it's called now, alcoholism, alcoholic, whatever you want to call it, you have an allergic reaction to your brain from alcohol, and it kind of like made sense to me. Like if you had an apple and you're allergic to apple and your throat would close, and it's the same thing with alcohol in your brain. I'm like, man, maybe I am allergic to alcohol, and maybe I can't handle this, So I was there for 2 weeks, and like, listen, wait another 2 weeks, so that's 4 weeks, and we'll get you into our inpatient rehab, which I did for another 2 weeks. And then I left, and then I started seeing the job, PES, and I was out doing outpatient stuff. And like crazy things would go through my mind, like maybe I'll be a lobster fisherman in Maine and run away and all this. So I went on that journey, and then I went from that right around that 165. They put me on another medication in there, Effexor. And I'm just naming this medication because maybe people listening have taken it or have family members that have taken this. And I went from that 165 to 215. I've never over 200 pounds in my life, naturally, like trying to get there, working out. So now I'm looking at myself like, man, I'm like a bloated, suicidal, drunk mess. Like I'm looking at myself like that, right? And like, who am I? Like I've my purpose was being a cop and working out. Like, that was right, but that was my ego, like the child within us, like trying to control me, right? So then I went back to work and restricted, and I got sent to another place. But actually, before I got sent to another place, my mom kind of, God bless her, she's like, you need to check this place out in Connecticut. And in our terms, it'd be called the farm. I'm like, I said it like this, there's no fucking way, Mom, I'm going to another place. There's no way. I already did. She's like, please take a look. Fought it. And then something else happened in my life. And I was like, you know what? I got to do this. Like, I'm really running out of options. So I went to High Watch Recovery Center, Connecticut, February 2019 to April of 2019. The job accepted it. One of the best things I ever did. I was there for 6 weeks, and it really opened up my mind to this. Some people believe is a disease, some people that don't. But it opened up my mind to this this way of thinking. This disease I had. The labyrinth of not only anxiety and depression, but obsessive compulsive, but guilt and shame and all that stuff. But like, let's get rid of the alcohol so we can then really focus on you, like your spiritual work, like your Pandora's box. So I left that, and then I went to Detective Borough Bronx, and I was like, great, here we go again. Like, people are going to know what I did. I got to talk about my story. I feel like a misfit. It's like, I feel like the misfits from Rudolph and everything. I'm in purgatory. Ended up being one of the best things ever. I started being honest and then telling my story. And yeah, I'm going through a hard time. Like, I went to a different department, and my spirit, my body rejected it, and it was tough. Like, all right, like, some people call me stupid and you ruin your life. I'm like, like, you know, but I'm here, you know, I'm here, I'm alive. So, I had a good idea in 2019. I was like, all right, I'll only drink at the Yankee game or Jersey Shore. And, then, that didn't last very long. I would get sober for a few weeks, put some weeks together. Then I would drink again, put some weeks together. And I was very honest with the PES section too. I told them when I did drink. So September of 2019, that girlfriend I talked about, who is Christina, came back to my life, heard I was getting sober, or I was sober, whatever. So I asked her to go to a wedding. She said yes. I'm like, all right, don't fuck this up, Frank. Like, I'm going to take her to a wedding, September 22nd, 2019, and I'm not going to drink. Well, we did the wedding ceremony outside. It was a beautiful day in September, fall. Walked into the reception, and there's like a waterfall of Ciroc, and it was game over. And I would tell myself as I'm drinking, like, don't say anything stupid, don't go crazy, like, you know, and I thought I was doing that. I ended up getting pretty hammered, and the next day we had a conversation at the dog park. I took my dog Jackson, and she was like, why are you punishing yourself? Why are you doing this? Like, I just came back to your life. Like, you still have your job, your friends. Like, I'm about to walk away. Like, you're really, like, you know, you've been working hard, but, like, you got to work harder. And it's like, what? And I said, you know what? Like, I'm done talking. Like, I'm just done talking about this, and watch, you'll see. At first, it was really to prove her, like, to get her back, to, like, I could do this. And I hit a meeting, an AA meeting, and then the next day another meeting, and it started taking over. And then as I started really diving into my recovery, I said, holy shit, like, I'm really doing this for me. Like, if she decides to leave, it's going to really suck, because I feel like I caused that. But at the same time, like, I'm starting to get to know myself, and in the future prepare myself that I never would have to put anyone through this ever again. Like, it was really fucked up. So at that time too, 2019, 10 officers lost their lives to suicide, and like, nobody knew, only like my close friends, but like, you know, how close it was to being number 11, because it could have been me as well. And then I was like, well, if I was on number 11, like, who else was like, who else didn't do it that was close? Who was 12 and 13 and 14? So I just started doing a lot of research, and like, realizing like 20% of everyday people suffer from anxiety, depression, PTS. But I believe it's more too. We can talk. Everybody gets anxiety, depression, man. This is just part of life. Like, who the fuck is not anxious and depressed right now? Who hasn't gone through stuff? You know, that's part of the hero journey. That's part of life. Everyone is going to go through it at one point.
I think that's why it's so powerful that, like, you talk about what you talk about, is because, like, especially when you said, like, when you felt free, just telling your story, that you didn't have to keep it inside anymore. And like, because I think a lot of people are going through shit, they're just afraid to talk about it. And by opening up and talking about it and telling your story, that now people feel more comfortable coming forward and actually like seeking help, or actually like, dude, even just talking about it with other people, it makes them, because you know what it is, we get so caught up in the day to day that when we feel anxiety or we feel depressed or we feel these things, we think that there's something fucked up about us. So when we hear that other people feel just like that on an everyday basis, we're like, hey, wait a second, this is a normal reaction. As long as it doesn't become to a point where it's like overwhelming and like you need to like, do something about it. But like we all have these feelings, we all have these emotions, and like, listen, like it's powerful to tell your story. So if you're out there listening and you have a story to tell, don't hold that shit in. As hard as it is can be to tell, and listen, both of us, we tell it a lot, and it's exhausting to tell that story sometimes, and very draining to like relive that trauma and stuff. But to be honest, I know I can say with confidence that Frank and myself have helped a lot of people by telling those stories who would have not sought help, who would have not like looked, to help themselves and fix themselves because of what we had to say.
Yeah, no, absolutely, man. And it's like, I don't know, this might sound messed up, but like if you're thinking like, oh, I'm the only one out there, you're wrong. You really are. Like, oh, I'm the only one that's suffering from alcoholism, or I grew up in a household with an alcoholic family, or I grew up in a household where my dad beat me, or, my mom passed away for cancer, or you lost your uncle or a family member to suicide. You're not the only one, right? And our story, everyone's story is just as important. It's just the difference is if we're willing to share it or not. And I really think once you start sharing it, not only does it help you let go, but other people start to be like, oh man, I'm not alone, right? Because you're not in that same experience atmosphere. So that's so true. And the for everyday people, 20%, it went to 30% for first responders and military. 1 in 5 cops have a suicidal ideation in their lifetime while they're either working or when they retire. And that doesn't mean you have a plan, right? And we've learned this and we teach this. There's a difference between having the ideation and the plan, right? But the ideation just could be like, I
hope I get shot today. Yeah, I hope, and we
wrap my car on the highway over here or it's raining out right now, and if an accident happens, who gives a fuck, right?
Yeah.
Like stuff like that. 2019, 238 officers countrywide lost their lives to suicide. And I was just like, holy shit, man. Like, this stuff is real. Like, you don't have to, like, this is serious. Like, when EAU or whoever comes and speaks for only one day in the academy for it, right? And then you never hear about this depression stuff again because no one wants to talk about it. And, like, this is real. And this is affecting, like, our culture. I guess you would say this is our culture. This is our lifestyle, man. And I said, all right, what can I do to make sure that, because I also felt like at that time, the way that I was treated, and I guess through the job, and just seeing that epidemic of people doing it, like, I feel like I can help this battle, I don't know anything about business, but I'm going to start a nonprofit, and I dove in, and my addiction kind of swerved into that, and I started the nonprofit. I don't know anything about business, but originally I said, what has helped me get where I am now, my early sobriety, but always helped me before that, like playing college football, like very competitive power lifter and like things like that, working hard, used to be a personal trainer, all these things like that. Working out, eating healthy as good as I can, and talking about my day with like-minded individuals, good or bad, has really helped me. And I got the idea really from Mark Bell of like Live Through It and his gym. He made it from New York. He's a little more north than me, like Dutchess County area. It's like his gym now in Sacramento is you can just work out and go in for free, and it's really awesome. It's a sick gym. So I said, all right, open up a gym free for first responders and military in March of 2020, which we did. Started to GoFundMe, raised money really quickly. I think it was like 10,000. It was really cool. A lot of people started donating, and people I didn't think, people that I just met about the mission were donating. Like, wow, like people really believe in this. Like they really want to fight this epidemic against cops and suicide, first responders. So March of 2020, what else happened? COVID opened. Gym was open 10 days for good. And I had a choice, man, right? Go left and say, you know what, it was worth the shot, and I'll just do my own thing. And we gave it a shot and just say, you know what, like, we really were trying. Or go right and say, you know what, this is when first responders and military need us the most, but this is when Frank needs himself the most. Like, this is really putting you on a good path, man. Don't let go of something. Like, did you really give it 100% yet? I'm like, you know what, I went right, thank God. We went online like everybody else, and picked up traction. And a shout out to my reps, to the whole entire reps team, right? Like Nick, Christina, Brad, Steve, Joseph, the legend, Danny, Aaron, Jason. We have like a very small team, but like behind the scenes, it's like really do the day in and day out operations. It's like 3 of us, and we all have jobs, Yeah,
and everybody's really passionate about the cause too. It's and I think that's what's good about keeping it small, is that everybody's like cares about it.
Right.
You know?
Yeah. Mike, No Donuts here. You know,
Yeah.
we had a conversation with him, and then Joseph for Fit for Duty, which we're trying to run back this year again. But, you know, he's been a great help as well, helping us spread the mission. But what we do in a nutshell now is, and that gym that was open was going to be the Mirage to draw guys and girls in, right? Because if I had a space like this is dope. But like just like an office, I'll come in and talk about your feelings. I wouldn't have anybody.
Yeah, no. Yeah.
But the gym was like a Mirage to bring in people and different first responders and military. So now if I'm an NYPD guy, maybe I check in with an FDNY guy or Westchester or Rockland, and Rockland's full of volunteer EMS and firefighters. Meet people. Maybe they can meet up before, they can meet up after, they live through it. And then we would have meetings once a week to say, hey, roll call, no filter, without the bullshit, how you feel. And our job would try to be, we're the middleman, find resources to help you out. Now, what we do is every Sunday night, responder talk. We've had check-ins from 25 different states across the country, 4 different countries. We just had a Vietnam vet.
That's awesome.
Vietnam vet from America who moved to Mexico with his family. He's like in his 70s, joined the call. He's been on the call for the last few weeks now, and it's great.
Was it
to
Jesse
see
the
him.
Body Ventura? Because that's him.
Yeah. So he's, you know, an example like that. You know, we've had Canada, we've had, you know, the UK and things like that. So this is really powerful stuff. And we have topic meeting, we have speaker meeting, we've had check-in meetings, kind of like, hey, you have 3 minutes to share what you're going through for the week, what's going good, what's going bad. We've had guest speakers from Aaron. We've had guest speakers from Navy SEALs, NFL players, top psychiatrists in the country, nutritionists, movement people. Just come and share their story or try to give different wellness tips, right? You know, shout out to our guy Greeny, who's just a hammer on metabolic syndrome, insulin resistant. But his fight is to cops. He says cops don't have to die young, and he really wants to reverse type 2 diabetes and get it tested more in departments. You know, and don't wait till you're about to retire for 3 years. Your blood work, you get to get that. I mean, we have insurance, okay, but you can get your primary just care once a year, checkup once a year for free.
I was telling Justin from Coastal MD on the last podcast, only something like 20% of members of the service have a yearly physical, and we have insurance and it's paid for.
It's 1 in 5 people at your roll call. Think about it. Like you have 30 people.
I guarantee you more.
6 cops getting done.
I guarantee you more people are going to those pension seminars than are getting physicals, and like it's fucking stupid.
The stress test, why? Well, yeah.
Yeah, why not do it? Why not? Yeah.
More statistics, right? Average age of cop, 57 to 65. Post-retirement, 50%, and within the first 5 years, cops have a major cardiovascular issue. Like, you don't have to do that. You don't have to be like that. And not to say that I don't struggle with certain things like that, but like our quote, you know, like we just we have a T-shirt going on right now, online store, right? One of the things, refuse to be a statistic. I always say it, and then I'm like, you know what? Let's put it on a shirt. By the way, all proceeds go to the shirt through Squad Life, so thank you, Squad Life. The link is in our bio. If anyone has any questions, all proceeds go back to Reps, so it's another fundraiser that we're doing. And the money we raise, so now still talking about Reps, is we've done gym sponsorships in Long Island, Orange County, Westchester, Rockland, but predominantly now we focus on Rockland.
In Jersey.
And we've done a few in Jersey before, but Jersey really, we want to get, we've done Jersey before, but actually this year we're trying to get 1 or 2 in Jersey. Angel Gracie Rockland Jiu-Jitsu. We have Iron Fist Athletics that used to be CrossFit affiliated. Now they just do a lot of Metcons and strength training, which is great. Actually, Sato is great. He does he's been doing a lot of like every minute on the minute, but like bodybuilding style. Yeah. So it's great. So like one of his workouts yesterday was every minute on the minute for 12 rounds. So you did each movement 4 times. It was gorilla rows with the dumbbell. You ever see that?
Yeah, terrible.
It's awesome.
Yeah.
So like for people not listening, like you're in a sumo position and you're keeping your chest pretty high. You're leaning forward a little bit, and you're literally just rowing like a gorilla from the floor all the way up to your lat to your pocket and going back and forth. Did that like 62 pounds, 7 reps each side. So that took about like 40 seconds. Then box jumps for 5 to 7 reps on a pretty high box of what you could do. And then the next minute was tricep, just dumbbell laying down extensions. Boom, skull crushers, right? So
on the floor?
On a bench.
Okay.
So you did that. And then the next WOD was core, every minute on the minute for 5 minutes. They were hollow rocks, which is like even tough for me. You curl your stomach flexion, you stay really flex, and you're like literally like a little baby, like rocking back and forth, 15 reps.
Oh, okay.
Every minute on the minute for 5 rounds. And then we did TRX rows, 15 reps, but he was like, you know, he's like, I want you to do 10 reps first, take 2 to 3 seconds, and then do 5 reps. Don't try to bang out 15. And he was right, because at like that last round, dude, like my lats and biceps were on fire. Then another 5 minutes of every minute on the minute was toes to bar, or it was just knee to chest. So it was great. It was like a good recovery day, and like, yeah, I don't really see that in like a CrossFit setting, or like a lot of people just hammer like heavy wads all the time. But like, you know, it was good. So anyway, shout out to Iron Fist Athletics. You have Varsity House Gym. We've done it with Overdrive Fitness, American Made Performance, like 5 gyms. So we hot yoga studio that just opened up too. Sent 2 cops there.
What's the name of it?
District Yoga. That's in Rockland, New City. Great. It was awesome. Me and Christina tried out a class. It was tough as hell.
Oh yeah, I saw the photos of that.
So that was really cool, really big support. So like you can see, like we believe in multiple pathways to recovery, right? We have Joe, addiction and trauma specialist, who volunteers his time. I'm a recovery coach, working with someone right now. I've worked with a bunch of cops, but usually just one at a time. My job is, how do I get you, Aaron, to stay sober from today is Saturday to next Saturday. That's all I care about, is not pick up a drink. And your triggers, your people, places, and things. A little education on fitness, nutrition. Try to just get you to walk more, move more. Christina's across it. And by the way, that girlfriend I talked about, she came back into my life. We got married. She's a huge help behind the scenes, keeps it going. She's a beast in CrossFit athlete.
No, she'll fuck everybody up for sure.
We just had our son, baby Caden. He's a month now. So a lot of beautiful things are coming out of this recovery journey. So yeah, multiple pathways from the fitness to the responder talk, the mental health side, and then we have a partnership with Forge Health where we refer people. Like, we don't do therapy, right? We're the pre and the post. I feel like when you're really in it, we can refer you to the therapist, right? And then also different inpatients like CR Tucson, Warrior's Heart, you know, things like that. And then again, if we're not the right organization for you, and me and Aaron, you know, Aaron would, in his position, you know, we refer people back and forth. Like, I think this person would be great here. Peer support, EAU, health and wellness, or other organizations that might that we don't provide because we can't do everything, you know. And
yeah, we're not like, this is the whole thing, is like, nobody in this field, if they really give a shit. I mean, there's some people out there, like some facilities or some like mental health organizations, that they really are just about it for the numbers and like you know. But like people who are really into it, it's not a competition. Like, they just want to see you get help. They just want to see, you know, whatever resource that it is you decide to choose, whatever organization you decide to choose, they just want to see you get healthy, you know, because for the most part, most of the people who start these organizations or who work there or who volunteer their time have been in a position that you've been in, and they know how difficult it is to get out, and they just want to see wherever you go that you get some help.
Yeah, no, that's really what it's about, is just live, learn, pass on. Like, Elite FTS and the 12-step of AA is basically just always having a hand and be there for another and pass on what you have learned, and always being able to help another alcoholic in AA terms when you can. And just because you're going through something doesn't mean like that, or if you do lose like some valuable things in your life, and I'm just gonna like shout out to Nick real quick. I know you want to have him on your show, but like, his story is insane. Like, here he is, like a first responder, lost his job to this disease, and like nothing. Has literally, you know, has a newborn, his life is falling apart. Reach out to reps, just diving into the program, started going to meetings, you know, doing his thing, and then just open him up to like go back to school to be a therapist. You know, this guy's been sober, I think, like 3 years now, and going back to school to, you know, so like using his Minotaur, using what he went through in life now to use that as his superpower, or as his fire to help others. And what we talked about, like the ADHD thing and everything, like, just because you're going through depression or anxiety, right? Like, fucking use that. Like, use that in your way. Like, how many people do we know are depressed and they write great music, they become artists, they do all this stuff? Like, come on, actors, musicians. If they never went through something, then they're lying. Like, me and Jason just interviewed Run DMC, right?
Yeah.
He told me in the interview, it was a great interview, by the way, 2004, he went to Sierra Tucson. I'm like, what a small world, you know what I mean? Like, and the more that we open up and the more we speak about this stuff and realize that everybody goes through something, and it's not a matter of if, it's just a matter of when. And are we going to be, and that's what Retro Responders is trying to prepare you for. If that day didn't come yet, when it comes, it's not going to hit as hard. It's not going to be as tough. It's still going to be tough, but you're not going to have to, you know, drink yourself to an oblivion, or you're not going to have to do pills or cheat on your wife or gamble or just work overtime and never want to be home.
Yep. People don't realize that is like a huge coping mechanism that is not talked about in first responder culture. Is just like being so depressed and like diving it all into work. I definitely was the perpetrator of doing that. And I think that this is, I just want to transition into this is one of the major problems when it comes to mental health and law enforcement in general, is that everybody always wants to skip straight to the crisis, right? They're like, a crisis happened, now what do we do about these crises? But everybody forgets that you have to start educating people at the very beginning of when they become first responders to prepare them for better coping mechanisms, better coping strategies, and all these things, so that those crises, when they do eventually come, you'll be better apt to deal with them, number one. And that crisis may actually just never come because you're so used to you putting things back into your own personal life, doing positive things, like practicing resilience tactics, being physically fit, taking care of your nutrition, abstaining from alcohol, like not doing the negative things. But the problem is people forget that our culture is so toxic on the inside that nobody does those positive coping mechanisms. So if you're not used to doing them, if you don't have the ability to set the boundary when coming into it or learning about it, you're going to be more susceptible to becoming part of that group mindset that uses those negative coping strategies as opposed to developing your own. And you'll be much more susceptible when a crisis comes. And we have to start educating people at that level at the beginning about resilience and overcoming things, because, listen, when the crisis comes, unfortunately for a lot of people, it's much too late. Then they just repeat the crisis stage. And like I said, when you know me, how I feel about the very coddling nature of first responders. We'll have a crisis, or somebody will be going through something, or maybe they even do something terrible or whatever. And everybody, we see these social media pages specifically oh, it's fine, you have a hard job, let's hug it out. It's okay, that's fine for 5 minutes,
keep
dude.
deflecting it, yeah.
That's fine for 5 minutes. I'm cool with that. Obviously, compassion is huge. But after that, that moment of okay, listen, I understand you're not okay right now. Step 2 better be we're talking about solutions, man. We're talking about solutions. How are you going to get better? Because otherwise, that cycle of coddling is just going to repeat itself until it winds up in a disaster. It winds up in a suicide. It winds up in you taking actions that you wouldn't normally take, especially with alcohol, right? We talk about alcohol. Alcohol, you're not obviously poisoning yourself. You're poisoning your brain and all this other stuff. But the actions that you take after you drink, you're an alcohol. Let's say somebody's an alcoholic, they're abusing alcohol, they have alcohol use disorder or whatever, and they're using that to cope with whatever they have going on in their life, and they've gotten away with it up to a certain point, and they know that they have an issue, and they're not getting that help. It's only a matter of time before you get behind the wheel of a car and fuck up your life or somebody else's life in the process, and then what are we talking about now? That healing is not going to take place. Now you're in jail. Do you think you're going to be able to some people do heal in jail, but there's a reason that when people get out of jail, even if they're not healed from their addiction, you know the statistics and all that stuff.
Yeah, no, that's what I really believe that, and that's why Jeff is with his program is so good, or every academy, even the NYPD, if you're listening, Kevin Gilmartin's book, Emotional Survival Guide for Law Enforcement, it should be a mandated read. There should be a test on it, or a quit. And it doesn't mean if you fail it, you're out of the academy. No, and we know, I don't even know what's going on these days. But if to be quiz on it and just a conversation on it, I don't know, once a week, or is it the academy is six months? So you're telling me that you can't talk about this for 30 minutes a day once a week, right? And make them read this and do that. Think of it like this, at the academy, right? If you ask the recruits, okay, who right now is an alcoholic? Who right now wants to kill themselves? Who right now is depressed? Who right now is burned out? How many people are going to raise their hand? And then if you say, who wants to feel depressed? Who wants to become an alcoholic? Who wants to kill themselves? Who wants to be burned out? But what if I told you in 10 years your probability of having one of those negative symptoms that I just said is really real, right? And now it's kind of what are you going to do about it? And now it's okay, well, here at least is a list of resiliency skills, or let's work on it a little bit. So now you are just aware of the symptoms, the sign, and knowing that this comes with the job, right? It's not, you don't have to say, going to what you said is, oh, you have a hard job, it's okay. Yeah, it's okay to feel this way and have these symptoms, but it's not okay to just say, this is me, I'm a cop, I deserve this is part of my career. The old school of good old boys are going to church after, right? Going to church means drinking with the boys and stuff like that.
Choir practice.
Yeah, exactly. When is it time to say, I don't want to live like this. Like, I don't have to try to fit in, you know? And I think that's huge. And as we get older and go have more life experiences on the job and at home and stuff, like, you kind of start to realize, like, shit, man, I really am. The choices I make are not only affecting me and my career, right, but it's really affecting my family, and it's affecting my kids. And just having a kid now, like, I have the opportunity to try to change the bloodline for, like, Caden to be like, I have the power to, I have the power that Caden may never ever, right, I can only live today, right, one day at a time, live right now, but I have the power for Caden, hopefully, that he'll never see me hold an alcoholic beverage in my hand.
Mm-hmm. Same thing with my kids. Like, there's this cartoon. It's like I think it's like, you know, it's that Spider-Man thing where he's like stopping the train from falling off the cliff, and like that's like your past trauma. For me, it's like my parents and, like, you know, being an abused kid, and like going through that environment. Like, I have that ability, and everybody else has that ability out there to not let what happened to you happen to your kids. You know what I mean? It's a choice, and unfortunately, a lot of people succumb to that. They think that they probably don't even grow up thinking what they're seeing is normal. They know how fucked up it is, but they don't do the work that it would take, so they don't pass it on. You know, and like we always say, whether it be recovery or changing your life, it's not a part-time job. This is like a full-time thing. Like, you have to really work on yourself every single day. Otherwise, you will fall back into those things. You will fall back into that comfort zone, and, you know, comfort kills, as I always like to say.
You know, like right now is helping my recovery. Before going to Coastal MD, seeing Justin, talking to him about some things, helping my recovery. But I kind of want to think, like, piggyback something that you just said, was knowing it's not normal. But on the flip side, like, when I was going through what I went through and growing up in the household I grew up in, like, when my dad always having a Budweiser, like, I thought that was normal. When I went to my friend's house and their parents weren't drinking, I'm like, what's going on here?
Bunch of squares.
But then realizing, holy shit, what I right, okay, what's a normal household, right? But, like, growing up, like, that wasn't a normal, conducive, like, environment to grow up in. And, like, I was just reading something the other day, and I'm so happy you said this, was the traumas and our fears and our past that we don't face and we don't go through and try to conquer and do the best we can. It's inevitable. We pass it on to our kids, man.
Yep, 100%.
Crazy.
Yeah, no.
And that's what happened. Like, my grandfather died. My dad's dad died when I was 1 year old. Heart attack, alcohol, and drinking. His father, he actually passed away in World War II in the Dorchester on a ship. But my guess is that he was probably a drinker. And before that, right? My uncle lost his life to this disease, man. Really fucked up. Miss him every day, right? Thank God my dad got sober through recovery before reps started. He went to the same rehab I did. Now here's a father following his son's footsteps. Got a new kidney. He's been sober since 2019. He's living a great life. He's at least now one of the greatest gifts I've got for recovery. It's like my son is now able to at least have a grandfather in his life right now. And my other uncle, retired FDNY, has two great kids. They freaking work hard. He, he, like, when he had kids, he just said, I'm just not really drinking as much anymore. I'm done, you know. And he's been a great role model. But, you know, it's crazy how three different people in the same household. I would say my uncle, my James, and my dad were similar. And then Greg kind of, like, stepped out the circle. But here's the thing about James and my father. James never really had a family. He never got married. He never had kids. My dad did, so it kind of gave him that spark to, like, keep fighting. But he also had my mom. Like, my mom really, like, I feel like my mom was the glue that really, like, kept his ass together. And, like, now the relationship is completely different. But yeah, shout out to my mom. She's tough as nails, and for not only from what my dad put her through. But what I put her through, hell, man, you know, it's just fucking fucked up, man.
Yeah.
But it's all good now.
You talk about, like, kids. I mean, kids is like, if you have problems, you know, and this is a big issue when it comes to when you're just, like, kind of throwing your life away. And, like you said, that this is how reps helped you with your own recovery, you know, and helping people helps you with your own recovery or whatever you're going through. Most people, especially today, they lack a purpose. And having a purpose that isn't involved in your employment or something outside is a surefire way to be more resilient and have something to live for other than, you know, whatever it is the things that are destroying you. And that's just one of the main things. And kids, if you have kids, you have no reason not to have a purpose. You know, it definitely helps realign you. I mean, you can try to block that out if you want, but your kids are like a written-in purpose once you have them. If your intention is on being a good parent, you know. and it's just, yeah. I mean, I noticed that, like, yes, we all have small other purposes in what we do. Like, my purpose is to help other people, to, help, save the world, quote unquote, to be corny, like, I just want to, I just want to make people better and make the world a better place, and just talk about shit that, like, nobody really wants to talk about because it makes them, uncomfortable. But, my main purpose is my kids. And I'm sure that, like, the second Caden was born, you were like, fuck, man, like,
dude, he opened his eyes. Who's the first person he saw was me. I'm like, holy shit, it was me. It's just, I said, all right.
He's like, shit, Dad, shave your beard, bro.
I know. We joke around, when I shave this thing, he's not gonna know who I am. I'm gonna be some, like, stranger.
I've seen videos of that on YouTube where, like, parents would have, like, their beard their whole life of their kids, and then they shave them. The kids would, like, start crying. They would think it's a stranger. They don't know.
Mind if I bring out my mustache when I go back?
Oh my God, please no. Creepy. Please don't do that. I'm sure Christina would not like that either.
Not at all. But yeah, and what I'm realizing and reading other things too was that really present moment, like the kid, if you're taking care of your child and you're really focused, like, it really helps you focus on the present moment. And it's a great coping tool, even though a tool, it might sound messed up, but, like, it's a great coping tool to help you be in the present. Like, all right, I'm changing his diaper, wiping his little behind, I'm feeding him, I'm making sure that the right amount of water or milk and ounces are in the bottle, or if you're pumping, your wife's pumping, and you have to measure out on all that stuff. It's like you're focused in the present moment, and we can't forget about those little things. And talking about purpose, real quick, the three major, Dr. Palmer of Brain Energy talks about that. There's a lot of factors, but the three main factors he believes in why people lose their life and take their life to suicide is: you have an illness and you keep going to the doctors and they keep telling you, like, sorry, you have 6 months to live, or there's no treating it, right? Purpose, number 2, you lose your purpose. And 3, guilt and shame. You do something, you lose a lot of money, you take a risk, and you have guilt and shame from your actions, right? But that purpose, I believe we have multiple purposes. You can't just have one. So, like, for example, when I'm out on the street with my partner, like, my purpose for the 835, which is now going to be 12, is just, like, be the best version, be the best cop I can be with the tools I have in that present moment, and try to do the best that I can, and try to, number 1, we have 2 ears, 1 mouth. It's like, listen, like, for cops, just, like, stop talking over people. Stop trying to and rule, like, stop trying to control and be so much power. Like, you can literally, like, figure out, in my experience, not even figure out the crime, but, like, you can also just figure out what someone's going through and, like, the help that they need, of just, like, listening to them and their tone of voice and their actions. And, like, you can kind of see if someone's, like, acting a little shaky and stuff, and what they're listening and what you're seeing, right? And without you just talking, be like, cops have the spidey senses, right? Can predict what's going to happen next and go from there. Obviously, right? We do in the court of law, right? We need evidence, we need facts. We can't just make assumptions. But those assumptions of, okay, when I do a car stop, right, I'm not going to just walk right up to the front of the car and give him a wave, or, it keeps us alive. And Kevin Gilmartin talks about that hypervigilance actually keeps us alive, and what make cops so good at being cops. But then it's like the battle of when, how do we turn that off, right? That right, we don't have to be, and you're a big proponent of this. Like, right now, dude, I don't feel like a cop. I'm chilling. One of my best friends, we're having a conversation, but, like, I don't have to keep looking over my shoulder and, like, I'm not even armed right now. I don't.
Me neither.
Yeah. Fuck it.
I'm going to lift after this. That's why.
Yeah.
But I went through the phases like that where I was like cop 24/7. Like, I used to, like, tell people I used to think that I was the sheepdog. Like, the night was mine. I owned it myself. Like, like, I used to think that shit. Yeah. And it's just not like that. Like, you don't have to be like that. You can enjoy your life. You can chill out. You can relax. Like, obviously, like, be as vigilant as, like, a regular person would be. There's dangers out there, but you don't need to act or think that everybody's out to get you. And I think a lot of the big contributor to that is, one, the culture. And I think it's gotten almost a little bit worse these days, is because back when, when you were a cop, 835, you could essentially come home and, like, avoid all police work altogether. Now, if you're choosing to dive down a rabbit hole of just, like, watching body camera videos on social media, and, like, you develop this outlook of how you think the world really is everywhere. And the truth is, if you walk out your front door right now, life is great, man. Life is great. Your neighbors aren't like that. The people that you know aren't like what you see out there, and most people are good people. But if you develop that mindset of everybody's out to get me, everybody's going to kill me, something's going to kill me. And I see people who are friends of mine on social media constantly posting this shit in their story or posting how terrible the city is or how terrible everything is going on. Well, guess what? If you think life sucks, life is going to suck for you because that's what you're fucking looking for. And if it's not, if you just like learn to rewire your brain for a second and actually look for the good in the world, you realize that there's a lot more good in the world than there is shit. And that's 100% a choice that you're making every single day.
Yeah, no, 100%. I mean, don't get me wrong. You could still do things right on your off-duty time to make sure that you're safe and your family's safe. So, like, for example, everyone knows this one, right? Like, your back doesn't face the door, right? You could like if people are coming at me this way and I'm walking, I'll make sure that my kid is on the other side so no one bumps into him and things like that. That's in my mind that's perfectly okay. But you know, you don't have to keep checking your phone or checking like that. Like if you find yourself like doing that or like over your shoulder, and I don't know, I just feel like that's like a sign of hypervigilance.
Yeah,
man.
like
That's
consistently scanning the room, like for what, dude? Like what are you looking for? But yeah, like back to the wall. It's funny is like people always talk about that as like being a first responder thing. Is like, first of all, I could sit anywhere right now and like not care. Like you know, I don't even know where the wall is behind me. But like that was something that I always did. Like always anyway. I just for some reason it's just like a spatial orientation thing where I just like enjoy people watching. So I would just do that. I don't know. I would do that. Maybe it's because like for years before I was a cop, I was a bouncer and like that's just what I was used to. But I never really, but yeah, you don't have to like, dude, you could sit anywhere. Like I'm, you know, like.
But sometimes we do it subconsciously. Like, look what happened when I walked through the door.
Yeah.
I did like a little like I'm going down a hallway, just a little head peek to make sure. And I saw you. I'm like, all right, good, we're safe. You know what I mean? But it's like I didn't put my whole body in and walk through.
I think
if you're a good cop, man, you had the spidey sense. Like you know if shit's about to go down,
right.
or you know you know if someone's you know, if someone's acting erratic or whatever, like, you know, you just remove yourself from the situation. Like if you're not, you know, but we also, if we're really going by the book, right? We're a cop in New York State, so you do what you got to do, right? But also like you know.
Yeah, of course.
And don't go looking for stuff. How many people, dude?
No. Yeah.
How sick is it? Like, this could be a mental. If you're walking through the mall and you're like, oh man, I wish an active shooter would happen today so I can save the day. That's crazy.
Dude,
I think so.
So crazy. And I'm going to tell you this. So I presented at Stony Brook University last week, and there was like this retired cop there, and he worked for an organization that I won't mention, but he was telling me this story. He's like, yeah, I'm retired, but I was in the mall the other day, and he starts telling me this mall where he saw like what appeared to be an Arab woman pushing a baby carriage, and he said for a second, like, he walked past it really fast to make sure that there's a baby in the baby carriage. And I'm like, dude, what the fuck? I said straight to him, I was like, dude, what the fuck is wrong with you, bro? Like, who does that? That's not even, first of all, like, that's not normal. Like, she's like, I thought she was about to go. Dude, why? Because you saw somebody who, like, looked different than you. And
stereotypical? Are you
holy shit, dude. Yeah. Like, fucking insane. I'm like, dude. Like, meanwhile, I just gave a whole presentation on, like, how this is how we shouldn't be. You know what I mean? I'm like, dude, this is exactly how we shouldn't be. We should not be like that.
Let me bring you up on the stage. Like, this is a prime example.
Yeah. It's just like, it's crazy. So, the baby's here.
He's here.
How's it going?
It's going, man. It's already a month in.
Mm-hmm.
It's tough. It's a good kind of tough.
Yeah.
But it's like you really want to talk about like sacrifices.
Uh-huh.
Like your life is not, you know, when you don't have a significant other, like it's all about you taking care of yourself, making sure you're eating, making sure you're lifting, making sure whatever, nurturing yourself physically, emotionally, spiritually, economically, you know, so whatever, right? Then you have a girlfriend or a wife or a boyfriend or a husband, and right? Then you have someone else to take care of also. But now you have like this little creature who he's a baby. Like when people say, oh, it's such a good baby or a bad baby, like, no, they're a baby.
Mm-hmm.
Like all they know, and they're born, like, it's crazy. Like just looking at it, I'm like my wife, and I give us so much more respect now, and I always did, but now more for like mothers in general, fathers, but like mothers, like what their body like creates. And I was reading like it's like 2 marathons or something, that 2.5 marathons that they go through when they give birth, right? Like, but like this little guy or this little girl, his whole life source depends on you. Like, your job is to keep him alive.
It's crazy, man.
Think about it. Think about how crazy that is.
No, it's crazy.
Like, he survives or she survives because of you feeding him. You're making sure he sleeps. You're changing his diapers. You're making sure they're not cold. You're making sure they're not hot. You're giving them bath every other day. And it's been amazing. Like, I was just reading too, like, if you give birth, you know, and don't take for granted if you give birth to like a healthy child. There's so many people out there that lose children that don't have a healthy child, and there's nothing. I'm not saying anything negative against them, but if you have a healthy baby, like, that's like winning the Super Bowl. Like, you should just be grateful for that, right there.
Absolutely. A lot of people aren't.
And some people can't even have kids.
Yeah, no, exactly. A lot of people can't even have kids. You know, I have one of my cousins, they have that too. They didn't have kids. Or my brother-in-law and sister-in-law, they're actually in the process of adoption right now. They're like adopting.
Well, good for them for that choice.
They're trying to adopt kids from Nevada. So they're trying to go through that right now. So hopefully that happens for them. You know, and just it's a blessing, man. You know, like. It's so one of my things I always say, and listen, everybody's free to make whatever choice that they want, and I don't, if you know me, you know that I genuinely don't give a fuck. I don't give a shit. Do whatever you want, as long as you're like not really hurting anybody, like I don't care. But one of those things that I always see on social media trending is like people that like talk shit about being parents, and like that's honestly, when I made those two shirts that said, one of them says fatherhood is dope and dad life is the best life, is because I just see this trend of like, not even just fathers, but like fathers and mothers, just like, oh, being a parent is so miserable. It sucks so bad. And then what happens is like that discourages people from like wanting to have kids. And there's this whole movement of like not wanting to have children. And like what I said, like, listen, it's fine.
More and more this
don't
age, man,
do whatever the fuck you want. And that's fine. But like, don't let the people who talk negatively about shit affect like what the positives are. Because I'm going to tell you right now, my kids sometimes can be really fucking annoying. Like it's just natural how it is. Right. But like, I'm telling you right now, like having them in my life is the most positive, amazing fucking thing that could possibly exist. Even from when they were a baby, they're fucking awesome. They're awesome. Okay. And like, not just like in the way that like, you know, like people will say something is great just because it's a blessing. No, like legitimately it's fucking phenomenal to have children and like to have them in your life and like see them and like have every phase of them just be amazing. Like, oh, there's this baby phase, and having them as a baby was awesome, and then having them as a toddler is the new phase, and then that phase is awesome, and then it's just cool. And like literally, like I get emotional like every single day thinking about them growing up and becoming adults and not be kids anymore. And I'm like, fuck. Like I'll see pictures of them on my wall as kids, and I'm like, damn. And like not only that, but it's a good reminder at work to have those, because like, listen, at work, no matter where you work, it has its ups and downs, and there's some downs sometimes where you get frustrated with where you're at for whatever reason. And like, sometimes I really have to look at my kids and be like, what type of example am I setting for them? And like, and I see them and I'm like, every decision that I make is not just my decision. It's a decision that I'm going to make for them. And because I am forced to be grounded in that way, it actually pulls me from having like some kind of crazy, like emotional reaction and pulls me back into what my real purpose is. What is my real purpose now? In the decision that I'm going to make next, does it fulfill that purpose? And does it fulfill, like, I don't know, having kids is amazing. Like I'm just super blessed to have them. And like, it's awesome to see you and Christina now have kids and like have a kid. And like, it's great. I can't wait to see the process, you know, and I'm sure you can too. And I'm sure it's difficult. And like in that moment, right? Like sometimes like you're like, shit, it's like 2 a.m. I just got to sleep and now the baby's crying and I got to get up and I got to change the baby and like all this stuff. And like, there's going to be that moment that goes through your head where you're like, fuck, this sucks. Like, but like the second you get that baby up and like you're fucking chilling with it, or you're changing that diaper and that baby's just looking back at you and like that, you know, you realize like how amazing it is. And like, they're looking back at you like, yo, I fucking made this. I'm going to like this. It's just, yo, it makes everything, it makes all that shit worth it, dude. Like it's fucking, it's amazing. Like,
yeah. No, thank you for the kind words, and you know, thank you for being a good dad, man, and just being a good.
It's gonna be frustrating. You called me the other day. You're like, bro, how'd you do it?
I know.
And I'm like, how'd I do what? I'm like, I don't fucking know. You know, you're like, oh, how'd you be a dad and do all this stuff, and like you sacrifice parts of your life and
a lot.
This is what I always say is like, it's also having a kid has also forced me to like really cut out a lot of the bullshit, dude. Like I don't have time for bullshit. I have time to do to really put my priority list. And my priority list is family, exercise, working out, like doing things like this with the podcast, like running a business, spending time with my family. That's it. Like tonight, I'm going bowling. Yeah, bowling.
Oh, nice.
For like
Mission
the first
300.
for the first time, dude, I suck. I'm like the worst bowler ever. I might just sit there and just hang out, but I'm going bowling for like the first time in like, I don't know, like besides with my kids, but like 15 years because I was invited out. And I never go anywhere or do anything, but and that's because I don't want to. It's not because like I'm missing out. I'm not missing out on shit. What am I? Dude, look at guys our age, right? Or even younger, that they live at the bar every single day. Every single time that they have a moment off, they go out, they live at the bar. They're not doing shit. They're not living a life with purpose. So they're going out, they're drinking, they're eating like shit. They're like sleeping with all these women, like all this stuff. Like, I'm not envious of any of that. None of that. Like, that is not, first of all, that's not a lifestyle I ever really wanted to live to begin with. I was never the type of guy to go out to a bar to like, oh yeah, I can't wait to get some pussy tonight, or like whatever. I was never that guy. I was the guy who's like, I want to go out and hang out with my friends and hang out, like maybe have a couple beers or whatever. But dude, I see people live their lives like that, and like it literally, and like I said, do whatever you want, but like, I do not want that. My life is very simple. I get up super early so I can go to the gym before my family even wakes up. I go to the gym, I go to work, I come home, I want to spend time with my family. That's it. And it's very fucking boring, and people are like, oh my God, that's boring. Bro, that's perfection to me. Like, I don't want anything else. I eliminate everything from my life that I don't want, and having kids is a great fucking way to figure out what's really important to you, because you only have time for certain things, man. It's like, now you understand where I'm like, I want to try jujitsu, but I really don't have time. Like, I have things that I like to do, you know what I mean? And if it doesn't fit into that like schedule, it's very hard for me to like, make it happen.
Choices come down 101.
100%. And there are plenty of people who have kids who don't make the right choices. And we see it a lot of times in our profession, and I talk about it quite consistently, is that, okay, cool, you have to work all this overtime, but like then you're going out with your friends as opposed to spending time with your family. And that's when like your relationships really start to collapse, man. There's like, if obviously you got to take care of yourself and have some level of self-care, whether it be exercise or something positive, that's good. And like your family understands that, but like if you're going out with other people and not them, and like it just becomes this whole thing where it's like, who was really your priority then? And people come, whether they want to say it or not, they become resentful of that attention, and they probably should be resentful of that attention that you should be paying to your family and not other people.
You ever think of, and for as parents, and I'm a new parent, so like, but we have to remember to be easy on ourselves, because we could do all the right things we're thinking about, right? Like, let's talk about the parents that are, and maybe sometimes it's enabling, like always there, driving, making lunches, doing the laundry for the kid, like you think you're doing the right thing, right? And then, and you are doing the right thing, but then to a certain extent, like being a parent, like being a mentor or a master Jedi or someone, like your goal should be that whoever you're mentoring or parenting is like, that they will surpass you one day.
Oh yeah.
That has to be like up there. You have to think like that if you really want to make a change for your kids or for whoever you're mentoring. Like, that should be your goal. Not like that I control this person, I own them, it's my way or the highway. But like, also I'm just like thinking like, I already think about like, what if my kid drinks, or what if he does a behavior that I didn't teach him, right? But like, they're also going to make choices on their own one day, right? And we could do the best that we can, but we also have to be ready to say like, you know what, like I really did the best I can with the tools that I had, and hopefully that I can be there and help them correct that behavior or that learning. And going back to what my dad said, always, if you tell me the truth, I can help you. If you don't tell me the truth, I can't help you.
That's good advice.
Installing that, right? And just sit back and listen. Go to a room and just listen, and listening can help you see the room like in a bigger perspective. But just, that's a fear I guess I have as a new parent. But then also like being like, you know what, like I'm 31, right? And I still see people my age, 31, bar scene and whatever. But like, I feel like I've seen and been through a lot. Like I've been through a lot of shit. Like I've arrested people. I've been arrested. Like when I was younger, I put people into a rehab psych ward. I've been to a rehab psych ward. I've almost lost my life to suicide. I've had family members and people on the job that I've seen lose their life to suicide, right? Just being involved in crazy police stuff already in my career. I have 8.5 years on. Like a lot of life experience, and like a lot of it was great and a lot of it was fucking tough. But like remembering like I'm still here. I'm alive. Like, I made it here, man. Like, that's the scars, the battle scars, the resiliency. But I didn't make it here alone, because through each and every one of those little journeys, that experience was shared with somebody else.
Yep. Mm-hmm. No,
and I'm able to see that and reach out, right? How many
Yeah.
times can I just call you and be like, yo, even if it's like a 5-minute conversation, and like we make a lot of jokes, but like,
Yeah.
this is the point I'm at. And I just did it to Aaron like 2 weeks ago or last week. I'm like, dude, this is what I'm thinking. Like, am I overthinking this? Like, is this real? Is this bullshit? Or like, could you agree with me on this situation?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, things like that. And like, having a few people in your corner like that is huge. And also like for parenting, because as a parent, you just wing it. But a lot of it is you learn your parenting skills, I feel like, from your parents, right? You do things, right, that they did good and bad. And then there's things that you're like, fuck, I'm never doing this for my kids because it didn't work for me.
And you gotta make
and
sure.
I was fucking tortured. Not like physically, but like mentally, I was fucking tortured. And I don't want to be like this to my kids. So I'm going to try to do my best to find other ways and just try not to be hard-headed. This is like what I tell myself, right? Of, it has to be done this way. And if it's not,
Right.
then it'll never work out. Or they have to do X, Y, and Z like this.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I mean, when I see parents try to like go too over the top of like the rules they're going to set for their kids, or one of my biggest pet peeves ever is parents, like, let's say somebody's kid is fucked up, right? Like, say like it's some, I don't know, celebrity, their kid is fucked up, and they'd be like, oh, my kid would never be like that, or whatever.
Oh, not my kid, yeah.
Oh, not my kid. Yeah, right, dude. Like, I fucking hate when people, because the truth is, as a parent, you can do everything right, and your kid can still, something bad can still happen to your kid, man. Like, and you think in your head, because this is like the issue of like wanting to control everything and not wanting to be anxious, and like thinking that you have control over every situation. Anybody's kid, you can be fucked up. Anybody can be fucked up at any moment. We're all just one step away from being fucked up, dude. And like,
one choice away.
Yeah, and that's why like we have to like do the best that we can, but also be forgiving for ourselves if something does happen or something bad does happen or they act in a certain way. And not only that, just remember that your kids are different than you. You know what I mean? And like, listen, even your kid right now is going to be different than who your kid is 1 year from now. Think about you from year to year. You should be a different person. You should think about things a different way. Your kid's going to be way different than you. Like, my daughter's way different than me. My son is way different than me, even though my wife would swear that like we're exact clones of each other. But the truth is, they have different wants and like desires and like what they want to do with their life. And like, you have to let that develop and not really force things on them. Like, there's like, I want my children to be happy. I think that was like one of the things that like, when I was growing up as a kid that I didn't have was like that level of like happiness. Like, I truly, when I tell you, like, I do not remember like a moment when I was happy. Like, I started writing like this autobiography back when, and like it started out with a paragraph about how like I saw photos of me being happy, but I do not remember like a single moment when I was like truly happy as a child. And like, I just want happiness for my kids. Like, and so that's something that I have to let develop, because what makes me happy is not what's going to be what makes them happy. I really want them to just like, my daughter's like really into acting and like singing and like all this other stuff. And like,
I should get that from you.
But yeah, but like my wife is like much more like a practical person, where she's like, oh, you know, I'm nervous. Like, what if she wants to do this with her life? What's it going to develop into? Like, I don't know. That's it. To me, I'm just like, I don't fucking care. She can live with me for the rest of her life. I don't give a fuck as long as she's happy. You know what I mean? Like, I do not
like,
care.
don't shoot down. I'm not talking bad about your wife at all, but don't shoot down her dream, because what if she does make it?
Right.
Right. What if she is like the next? Right. Like,
and even if she's not,
she does it as a hobby.
She did something, and not only that, like that cycle. Let's say she tries and she doesn't make it, and she consistently tries and doesn't make it. She just learned more resilience shit, like that, to be a stronger person and like overcome things than most people will fucking learn in their lifetime, because they never try or attempt or do a fucking goddamn thing, man. They never do shit.
Dude, imagine if you were like, if you never made like the choice of you being the next huge fat loser, right? What if you did that one bike ride and you said, no, I'm done?
Yeah. And bro, that went through my head, dude. Like, that really
Crazy.
went through my head. Like, I was like,
dude,
this is
right
fucking
now.
stupid. Yeah, this is so dumb. Like, why am I doing this? This is a waste of time. Like, I just failed. Like, just throw my bike in the back of the truck and just like fucking never do it again, you know? But I think when it comes to parenting these days, right, one of the things that is
getting nuts.
one of the things that gets cut short or gets like ignored is because everything is so easy for kids, you know? Like, my kids, they'll watch like YouTube reels.
I feel like I never see kids outside anymore, dude, doing anything. Like,
they don't know struggle. And like, this is the dichotomy of parenting, right? Where I know all the fucked up shit that I went through is what made me who I am, maybe this powerful, like, strong-willed person who will literally, like, go toe-to-toe mentally with fucking anybody. Shit. But at the same point, I don't want that for my kids. I do not want them to have to overcome or fucking deal with the shit that I went through as a parent to become somebody like me, because I know how mentally fucked up I still am over it. But at the same point, like, kids need some level of resilience and some level of struggle. Otherwise, dude, like, I see people, adults who, somebody was just talking, I was listening to this thing on Rogan where it was like an adult had to go to their therapist to learn how to prepare for a job interview because it might be difficult.
Happens all the time.
I'm just so, I don't want that. And listen, right now, my daughter would fuck you up. Like, so I'm happy for that, you know, but like, I want them to be strong-willed people and understand that. And you know, it's just something that's missed these days. Kids got to struggle. Kids got to go
independent.
Kids got to go outside. Kids got to play in the dirt. Kids got to get cut or, you know, fall off the swing. And it sucks. You want to be that hover parent, but at the same time, like, you have to let your kids fuck up and like learn from their mistakes sometimes. Otherwise, they're going to look for you to solve all their problems. They're not going to become resilient. And they're like and I'm also not saying the opposite. Like, I'm going to teach my kids the valuable lessons. Like these fucking like people who like think that they're going to like scream and yell at their kids and like live a tough life. Like, you know, like shoot their fucking laptop in the backyard with a machine gun.
Throw the Xbox in the pool.
Yeah. Like, dude, like, no, that's the opposite. Your kid's going to hate you for the rest of their life. Yeah, that you're causing trauma. You're like, oh, well, kids are so... No, you're causing trauma. That kid's going to fucking remember that. Is that what you want your kids to remember you for? Or I would rather my kids be able to fuck up, come to me when they fuck up, and know that I will always be there for them no matter what.
Tell me the truth line.
That's it. I will tell them the truth in a non-judgmental way and be like, listen, okay... And like I said before earlier, when we talk about it's okay not to be okay, okay, listen, now let's talk about how we're going to fix this, how we're going to come up with solutions for you, okay? Then we work on that. And I'm not saying like, yeah, it's this hard-ass fucking David Goggins, carry the boats type of fucking way. But I mean...
I got the log outside.
But I mean, realistically, like, how are we going to fix this? How are we going to make you better? How are we
rationally, strategically think through it and plan it and be like, hey, we're going to do this one day and the next day and get to a goal. Just like accomplishing a goal. Yeah. And talking about what we're talking about, I thought about this too. Like, it would be great if Caden... You know, I played football and baseball growing up and Boy Scouts and all this stuff, right? And if I can get him into martial, like one thing I wish is I got into like martial arts younger, jiu-jitsu. And I did it for a little bit, but then I quit, right? But like Star Wars, like Marvel stuff, you know, like I
hope he hates
just
Star Wars,
things that I enjoy, comic books, fantasy, sci-fi stuff, right? It would be awesome if he would love this stuff and like we can bond together. But at the same time, I'm going to introduce it to him and try my best to let him see if he enjoys it, but I'm not going to force it down his throat and be like, all right, son, you have to do baseball all the way up into high school and then see if you'll make the team. Like, no, like maybe he'll like astrology. I don't know. Maybe he'll want to be a philosopher, you know, kind of like which I wish I was, you know. I don't know. Maybe he'll just be something random, right? And then be like, all right, man, like that's your choice. Like you became that because you chose it and like your life experiences got you to that point, you know?
Yep.
Like my life would be completely different right now. One, if I kept drinking. I don't even know if I'd be here. But two, like if I never even drank at all. Like, how crazy would my life be? Like, I probably would have never even been a cop. Like, I don't know what I would be or what my thought process would be.
I don't think that you'd be as mentally tough or strong either.
No.
Yeah.
But, like, I'm also at the same time, I'm not like Caden. All right, man, I'm right now. Like, when I get home today and I'm holding him right, I'm like, all right, buddy, we're going to prepare you to go to the psych ward for 6 weeks. You know what I mean? Like, what the hell?
No, you're right.
But our choices are crazy because, dude, I could walk out of this podcast right now and say I had a great day, right? I had a great day. And I can look across the street and be like, you know what? I could have a beer right now. And nobody would know.
But you would.
Maybe I could have two. Maybe I could have three, right? But no one will know. But that's like what recovery teaches you, boundaries and principles, to do the right thing.
Yeah.
Right?
Yep.
Going into a bar and being with your family and say, you know what, like, yeah, I could sit at the bar and I'm fine, right? Which for me is pretty good right now. But I'll make the choice to sit all the way across at the other side in the corner there. Why even put myself in that situation? Why template that fire and I don't know, the devil's idle mind, right? I want you to, come on, Frank, one more drink. You know, I always say our disease are doing push-ups in the parking lot, you know? Ready for us is getting stronger the next time. And
they're waiting for that moment, dude.
That's
like,
it,
and like,
and that's why we have to do this.
Honestly, dude, like, I got to be honest, like, I'm like so proud of you right now. Like, just on another level of like, listen, you were at DBBX. You worked with me in health and wellness. I fucking tried to get you there because I knew how powerful you were. And then you went back to the 4-2 to the streets and like back to the 4-2 to the streets.
Me and Mikey,
dude. And like, you stayed strong, dude. Like, you're still strong. You're fucking killing it. Like, if there was ever a fucking moment, like, that was it. And like, you're fucking there. And now you have a kid that's also stressful. And you're staying there. Like, we talked about the other day about how like, I was never really a big drinker, but I'm telling you right now, just the idea or thought process of like being drunk around my kids is like, it's a reason to stay. Like, listen, I'm not sober, okay, but like, there's a reason to never drink in excess.
Get hammered.
But but some people take it the opposite way, where they're so stressed out by their kids that they become that. And like, dude, your strength to continue to do what you do and continue to inspire other people, like, really, like, it inspires and motivates me, man.
Thank you, man.
You're sometimes like getting that phone call from you, getting that text from you is like, I know that I'm gonna get like I'm gonna feel good because we're the environment that I work in. Like, you work there, that like not many people are doing what we do, and like it's very frustrating. So
yeah.
Getting those phone calls and those reminders from like-minded people like you, like, definitely, and like seeing what you're doing out there and like constantly like doing the rep stuff, and it keeps me motivated.
Thank
too,
you, man. I appreciate that a lot. It means a lot because I don't really give myself a lot of credit, which and you have to, man. And anyone listening is, for all the struggles you went through and all the hard work you're doing, like, give yourself some credit. Be like, I'm fucking doing it. I made it here. Like, I'm back in the street in like one of the craziest precincts in New York City. Like, I'm doing it. I'm running reps. I have a kid now. I have a wife. I'm helping other people, and like, all that, just don't forget to like, don't put yourself all the way in the back of the line. Don't say like, I'm good now. I'm good. And forget about yourself, right? Because I'd be fucking sitting here lying out of my teeth if I don't have days that I'm just like, shit, this job put me back into this precinct and all this stuff and my quality of life, and now I really understand what the cops were talking to me about when I was in health and wellness and reps in the beginning, and then when I was thinking like, it was different when I was out on the street in 2016 and 2017. Like, it was bad, but it wasn't this bad, blah blah blah. But with the cop shortage and I don't know, some supervisors are not look at health and wellness and things like that, right? Yeah. But just even like being back now for over a year back and running a sector car already. But going back into like, it was December of 2022, let's say January 2023, and then I don't know, was it 3-4 months in the incident that happened in April? Like, able to get through that on the job and now put that another experience on my tool belt, like that's bad. Yeah, that's his top. That's bad.
Yeah, no, for real.
But not able to be there not only for myself and not have to drink through that, but be there for other guys to help them and say, yo, these symptoms you're getting, this is normal from an event like this, but it's not normal if it goes over 30 days, if you're doing this behavior, if you're not sleeping. But now I'm educated on that, where old me would be like, all right, guys, like that night, that weekend, we all went out to a cigar lounge and we had cigars, like, didn't drink, right? Then we got pizza, whatever, was good. But now it's that old Frank would have been like, all right, we got to go drink now every weekend and we went through this situation. We're boys for life. We're family. We're family and all this, right? Like,
yeah.
I don't know if I'm going to get some heat for that, but like, are you really family? Because those incidents you get in, like, ask the listeners, ask yourself this: those crazy jobs you have out there where you're fighting for your life, where you're saving someone else's life, or you're giving CPR or Narcan, and you're doing really good police work, and then someone leaves the precinct, or you leave the precinct. Like, are you still that family bond with them today? Are you talking to them every day? Are you talking to them once a week? Are you doing those outings with them?
No. They're definitely not. It's very rare.
They might be there if you call them and say, I'm going through something, right? That's a good test too. But like, really, you have to define like, who is your real brother? Who is your real sister? Who is your real family? And some people, like, family blood. Some people hate their blood family, and it's like, okay. But some people also, I also believe that you're the one that describes, you're the one that chooses your, like, you don't choose your biological family, but you choose the way that you look at people as like a brother figure or a father figure, or like, it's completely okay to put your trust and love in other people that aren't your biological family if you're treating them as a family and respect. I don't know if you would agree on that.
Oh yeah, dude, 100%. Like, me, you know, my family dynamic. Like, I do not get along with my family. My dad is like just some guy who's in my life. My mother, very toxic person. And like I really don't talk to them that much. So like I have to put my family, obviously, well, okay, my
Your
wife,
household family, right?
my household
but then,
family,
like the
but then,
extended
like,
family.
My
there you go.
extended family is just like people I know, like you or like Nick. Like it's very small, you know, and so sometimes you have to do that. But like the job or any job you work, dude, it's not your family. And I'll tell you this, I love this example because this is when I worked in the 113 at the time. Guy just retired. Guy did 25 years in the command. Like everybody knew him. Guy leaves. A year later, it's the Christmas party. Okay, guy shows up at the Christmas party, and everybody's just like, "What the fuck's this guy doing here? He's retired." Dude, that's how quick people forget about you, and like they don't even want you around because you don't work there anymore. It's like, it's weird. Or you get in trouble at work. Like in my situation, I got in trouble at work. Like I thought I was the fucking man where I worked. Like everybody liked me. The second you get in trouble, bro, they act like you have some disease. They don't want to talk to you anymore. They don't call
Dude,
you.
it took me.
My best friend blocked me on social media, dude. After I got jammed up, like we're not friends anymore, obviously, but it's fucked up.
You know what you're thinking about? Sorry to cut you off. It's fucked up because it took years after that when I got sober. Not even during a few, right? Like to start reps and I was doing the right thing for like some people to like to just say, "Hey, what's up, man?" You know, like when I went back, some people wouldn't talk or anything, but now it's like, and the people that did reach out, like I know who you are. Thank you for always having my back. But then there's some people that, you know, oh, you know, don't, this guy's crazy. Don't talk to him. But then seeing like, yeah, you know, like that's actually motivation. Like, nah, man, like. Fuck you. I just went through a hard time. Like, I'm taking my life back right now. And I'm going to make my life better. But I'm also going to fucking make other people's lives better around me.
Yeah.
Because that's my purpose. That's why, I'm here.
Yeah, and most people don't have a purpose, dude. They're just floating through life, like unhappy, miserable, doing like all like terrible.
Sauce. That's living in the rat race, dude.
Yeah, it's very easy to get wrapped up into that, man. You know, and
it's like a fantasy Disneyland.
Yeah. But people, listen, at work, people forget they're not your family. They will fuck you over, and this is why I always laugh at like thin blue line, and then like the outsiders think it's the blue wall of silence. Like, absolutely not. If you're listening to this podcast right now, there's no blue wall of silence. The people next to you will look for any opportunity to fuck you over and like, get you in trouble if you got something that they didn't. You know, very crabs in a bucket mentality, and I thought I was alone in this, right? And like obviously in you know where we work, but one of the most enlightening things that I listened to was the last time that David Goggins was on Joe Rogan's podcast, and he talked about the Navy SEALs and like how when he became a Navy SEAL, he had this opinion of Navy SEALs and how they were, and then he became one, and he realized that they were just a bunch of fucking bitches essentially, and like just like bitching at each other, like acting like girls and drama queens, like all this shit. And I felt the same way. Like, I didn't really have any cops in my life. So when I became a cop, I had this mentality of how cops were, and then I became one. And I was blown away by the cultural difference of what they really are versus like what people think they are. And it's fucking nuts.
Just going back to the blue line of like, we got your back, right? Just think about it like this, everyone listening. And you know, I'm not talking shit about you. You haven't been out there in a while, but you know this, what I'm about to say, you're going to laugh. Just think of it like this. Like, think about when you're out on the street, sector integrity. A crazy job comes over in someone's sector, and they're out there, or they're in the house, and you know they can answer it. And you know who those people are, and they don't fucking answer that job. And you go there, right? I thought we all had each other's back. Why sometimes are you the last car going to a job at end of tour, and there's only one car there?
Yep.
Everyone wants to just get back, put the lights on, go back home, and get the hell out.
Yep. Exactly. 100%. A lot of that.
I see it. It still happens
today.
Yeah,
man. No. And it definitely was like that for sure. And like I always tried to do the opposite, right? Where if I'll get another good example. This is when I was in 108 in Long Island City. I was working with somebody, and we just turned out I was covering midnight patrol, and I was on patrol. I was with somebody. We came across a car accident. Car accident just happened. No cars are there. I'm like, all right, cool. She's like, well, what do you want to do? Should we like raise the sector of concern?
I'm a cop or a boss?
I'm a cop. I'm like, raise the sector of concern. I look at this girl. This girl had like 1 year on, dude. I'm like, raise the sector of concern. I'm like, no, we're going to do the police. We're going to do the accident report. That's what we're going to do. I don't care what sector this is. We're going to do it. Like, we're here right now.
Yeah.
I always think that's so fucked up, and I always have, is like, you roll up to somebody in crisis, or you roll up to a scene, you're like, hold on one second. Other cops, they're going to be here soon. It's like, dude, and then you drive away. Think about the image that you just left of somebody in your head. Like, it's so fucked up. And listen, when I was a supervisor once, I had somebody who was my partner for the day. I hate saying driver because it's like, oh, yeah, they're driving me. I'm entitled to a chauffeur. Like, no, okay, they were my partner for the day. And somebody came up to us in the street, like waving their hands in the air. And she goes to me, and this girl had like 1 year on again. She goes, should we drive away? I look at her, I go, what? Like, no, like, this, stop this, like, it was like nothing. They needed their car jumped. We jumped them. And guess what we fucking did? We had a positive interaction for the day. That person, at least, maybe they hate the cops, but you know what? They liked them for the rest of the day. This person got them to work on time. Like, don't drive away from people. Like, it sucks. And this is what I always say about community policing, too. Listen, people think community policing is like throwing pizza parties and shit. It's not. What community policing is, and what the real community wants to see from you, they just don't want to wait 3 hours to get a fucking accident report, man. They don't want to be re-victimized when you show up as a cop, like you showing up with that armor of like anger why am I here? Compassion fatigue, not knowing how to listen, like you said before, and you're just like, yeah, what the fuck do you want? You're looking for a reason to like shit can it or like get them out of your face or not listen to them, and like they don't want that. They want to have whatever bullshit it might be, just take them seriously for that minute, leave them feeling good on the way, whatever. Now, I'm not talking about people who are like disrespectful or like anything like that. I'm talking about the regular person. Like, me, have been in a car accident and been treated like shit by people in our own agency when they show up, trying to shit can an accident that I waited 3 hours in the fucking rain, dude, for them to show up, for them to, this doesn't look like that much damage. It's like, bro, I waited 3 hours.
20 minutes, if that, PAR?
Yeah,
less?
Not even. I waited
less.
3 hours for this shit. You know what I mean? Like, it's just crazy. Just treat people how you would want somebody in your family to be treated, because listen, you don't know anything about this person, and it's a side effect of, I get it, the trauma and all this stuff where we develop this compassion fatigue and like all this stuff where we think that people who are in the neighborhoods that we police in, especially if they look different than us, don't fucking matter. And we develop this us versus them mentality where it's like cops versus everybody else. Everybody hates us. Once again, back to perspective and like what we let into our brain and like these videos that we watch. But the most important is like, we are those people. We are the same people. Like when that uniform comes up, that's us.
I forgot the word for it, bias thinking. The word with the bias.
Confirmation bias.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah. I know you know this feeling. I know we have 25 minutes left. You know what I'm about to say?
Zen?
I gotta go to the bathroom so bad.
Oh, okay.
You'll be able to hold it down and keep going on this while I'm gone for like 2 minutes?
Yeah, go ahead.
This is live. We're doing this live right now. There's no breaks or anything. We are HFL podcast.
All right, go. Bathrooms around the corner.
Thank you. Keep going on with that because I have something I just say when I come back.
Yeah. All right. I'm going to keep going now that Frank's got to pee. You know, Frankie P.
How you doing?
Shows up late, you know. All right. So to address the crowd here while Frank is in the bathroom, and we talk about compassion fatigue and all these things. These things are natural things that happen to us, especially when we deal with trauma we develop, because we're so used to dealing with that 1% of the negative population or the 1% of the quote-unquote bad population 99% of the time. So we start to think that every interaction that we have is going to be like that. So we develop this mindset, and we think that, you know, everybody's like that everybody's out to get us, that every situation that we're involved in doesn't matter, and then we try to get out of that situation as fast as possible, you know, and you can't be like that. You have to really think about yourself, like, how would you want to be treated, you know, and I don't know if anybody out there listening who is in law enforcement has been a victim of crime before, and they've been treated like shit by the police or by somebody, or it feels like shit. It feels like absolute shit, especially if you're already in a career in law enforcement, and then you are treated pretty poorly by somebody else in another agency. It feels pretty terribly. And like I have stories I've never told anybody, and I probably never will, because I don't like to out people or you know, talk badly about people, because I genuinely judge people or think about people as if, you know, maybe they were just having a bad day that day, or, you know, I would want to be given the same, you know, what do you call it? Same, I don't know, same compassion if I was having a bad day, when, you know, hopefully that's just what it was, you know, but I want to be given that same leeway where, you know, they were just having a bad day. But I've had interactions with people where I was a victim of crime, or I needed something from an agency, even my own, where I had been treated like I felt like, you know, and a lot of us develop that us versus them attitude, and you have to always remember that we are them. And now Frank is back from his pee-pee break, and go for it, Frank. What do you got?
What'd you say? Us first
I
them?
was talking about what?
Us first them mentality? Is that what you're going?
Yes.
Well, like that we are part of the circle, the system. We are inside. Of
We are them. Like, we are the people that like we police. Like, there's no difference really, realistically, between us and them. And like, you would feel
There's
like
no difference. It's just the choices we made, man.
Yeah, no, it is. Like, and I always like.
I would have been them if I didn't get sober.
Oh,
100%.
Yeah, for sure, man. And like, we think that we're special because we passed the civil service exam that like realistically anybody could pass, especially nowadays, you know, like
It's a job.
it's just a job. And like, we're tasked with like the public safety of a lot of people, but you know, it's not the TV. You know?
No. But and it is a tough job, right? We're not saying that this is such an easy job, right? But it's a tough job, but it is a job, but it's also like it's a good job. And like, if you want to hold on to it, right? Not only the job you do every single day with the choices we make, but the choices we make on the outside, because you could still live this job, but are you really living this job, right? Like, are you on your second or third divorce where now all your money is going to all these different places? So now what's going on here, right? Or are you spending all your money on all these different things? Or if you're working that overtime just to not be alone at your house or with your family, or maybe you don't have a family and you're like, fuck, I just don't want to be alone at my house anymore. So I'm just going to work and work and work and work. Or I can't fall asleep at night and I don't want to get help about it. So I'll just work my ass overtime. And so I'm so tired, or a second job. So then my body's just forced to fall asleep because I went to exhaustion.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you have to look into that.
But this us versus them. We can go on this topic and do laugh. I was thinking about it when I was back there. Like, what about all the cops on social media that make these fake accounts, Punisher 76543, with 3 followers, are following 3 people and 0 followers, right? But always like, and we see it all the time. Okay, and I don't know how it's a huge topic now, like the whole Acorn situation with the one cop.
Yeah.
But everybody, like, I don't know. I just don't have time, and it doesn't make me feel good.
No,
like,
me neither.
You have to Monday morning quarterback every scenario that's good or bad. And even if the scenario went well, it's still like we should have done X, Y, and Z, right? We know as a cop. And if you're in a big city department, a lot of your training is training day.
Yeah.
Okay? Go out there, fucking figure it out. What works, what didn't work today. And the next time I come to a similar situation, or, you know, I'm going to do this, and that, right? Anything 101. Like DV 101. Don't talk to P1 and P2 while they're next to each other, right? Take them across, have your partner, make sure you can see your partner and them, and talk. If that happens and they overhear something and an argument happens and they start freaking out and you got to call an 85, okay, shit, police work is not pretty. Shit happens. But now next time, you know, shit, they should have never talked this close. Okay, let's break them apart, you know? That was just a random example.
Yeah,
okay?
no, it's a good example, though.
Things like that. Like, don't beat yourself up. And also, you don't have to critique everybody's situation. Like, yeah, your cop in your precinct got into a shooting. Like, you don't gotta talk shit, okay? You send them a text message, even if you don't fucking know them, or like if you see them, hey man, like, I'm glad you're okay. Or I always do this all the time. At the end of the day, or after a job, I always say, like, you know, it might not have gone the best, but it worked. We all went out safe, and I just say, you know, I usually tell people, like, good job out there, because I believe that we firmly do a good job. Like, giving those little positive reinforcements.
Yeah.
And that's hopefully when I become a boss, that's the thing I'm going to be looking for. Is like that really speaking at roll call, or like a return roll call, like if, you know, it's not going to go crazy and things like that. But like each roll call, talk about like, all right, what went good yesterday? What didn't do good? You know, what are you guys grateful for today? What is this at? Like, try to like really bring people into the present moment. And like, yeah, if I'm a sergeant and I have my partner or driver or whatever, my partner, and we roll up on something, like, nah, kid, like, I am a kid, but like, nah, kid, like, we're handling this.
Yeah.
Like, if we're the first on scene to a DV job and we're backing somebody because there's no cops out there, like, now we're not waiting for the sector to get there. We're still the police.
Yeah.
We're fucking going in.
Exactly. Now, can you imagine sitting outside and listen, you're sitting outside
and then go from there.
Happens? Yeah.
And
you have to do it, yeah.
I mean, that's what we signed up for too. Like we signed up for this job. Cool. So we signed up to get that we signed up to get those pickups. It's going to happen.
Yeah.
I always
we
can also sign up. We can also sign off this job. If it gets so crazy and it's taking over our lives and we don't know what to do and we're fucking miserable and we're 100 pounds overweight and we're drinking and we're just literally committing suicide over time, like, you do have the choice to say, you know what, like, this doesn't serve me anymore, And I don't want to do this for another 15 years or another 5 years or anything like that.
Yep. No, you're right. And I know people who have left, who have vested out, who just it wasn't for them anymore. You know, they realized that it wasn't for them, and they do other things with their life, and they've been very successful. So if you're listening out there and it is just so miserable and you don't want to do it anymore, like, please just go work on something else. Like, come up with a plan. Like, and this is what I always tell people, right? Especially when they talk about working overtime or what they're going to do after they retire and they don't know. Start developing a skill now. Start thinking about what you enjoy doing now and turn that into some type of business or something else. Because people think that they're going to miraculously retire from the police department at any rank, and they're like, oh, they're going to want me because I was a New York City police officer and we're valuable. Dude, like, I hate to break it to you, we're not. We're not valuable, dude. You know what we're valuable for? Security jobs. And people who listen have heard me talk about this before. That's what we're valuable for. I got into an argument once with somebody who was a retired police officer somewhere else, and they were like, yeah, but we do develop skills as a police officer, like communication and crisis mitigation. And I'm like, yeah, that looks great, but nobody who's going to hire you gives a fuck about that. That's not a real skill. Like, we know that we do that, and they could say that we do that, but there's no, like, dude, they want you to be a security guard. And I know plenty of people who have retired, and I'm talking about even supervisors who retire from this, and the only thing that they could find is another job doing some other type of fucking security, where essentially they're not even hiring you. They're hiring your ability to carry a weapon. Yeah. That's what they're hiring, and they're not paying you shit, dude. There's somebody flipping burgers at McDonald's who's making more than you, doing something, and you're going to be doing it, and you're going to be hating it. So find a way to turn whatever it is your passion is into some type of side hustle, some type of business, or go back to school for something else. It's not criminal justice, okay? Do something else with you. Just do something else, okay? That's the only thing that I can impart on you. Otherwise, when you're like, I can't wait to retire next year. Well, you're going to be retired doing the same fucking thing for way less money for somebody who's actually going to shit all over you.
So what?
Because, yeah, right, exactly.
So what?
Exactly.
What's next? What are you going to do next? But that leads me into what you're going to, like, we're talking about it, and I know I've talked to people about this, and people are probably listening, well, it's not that fucking easy to leave. I'm making 100 to 150. I can't leave my family. Okay, like, right? So you can start to work on changing your mindset, your behaviors, your perspective, but at the same time, what you were just saying, dude, was find something else where maybe if you have time to start that second job, or you volunteer to say, oh, maybe I can see myself to make this into another career, and then maybe I really have to sacrifice and grind for the next 3 years. Maybe I'm not making $125,000, but maybe I find a $70,000 job. But I'm a lot happier. So now I'm able to get more healthier, and I'm able to have more energy. And motivation's a feeling, but I'm able to get more motivated to work that job and move up the ranks. But also, like, at the same time, I really believe that cops are, like, one of the most resilient creatures on the planet, because we go out there, we come home, and when I mean out there, like, we're in depths of, like, we're not called to the weddings or the birthday parties. We're called in, like, people in crisis are, like, the hardest times, but we survive, we get through it. And as you see, the jobs always trying to add new policies, and people are criticizing us from the outside in the news, but we still show up, we still do our jobs, we still save people's lives, we still take guns off the street, we still make arrests, we're still doing it, right?
Yeah.
But at the same time, like, give yourself credit. Like, okay, yeah, I'm a cop. Like, oh, some guys are just like, I can only be security when I retire. But no, because like, your de-escalation, people in crisis, your investigatory skills, your writing. I know a lot of people that are smart that write stuff and apprehend laws and procedures. And as a boss, what do? You manage people, you manage things. That doesn't mean you have to go into a security company and do any of that. Maybe you just become a manager at Lululemon and you make it better, and you get ideas, and you create.
Bed Bath and Beyond, dude.
I don't know, something random, or you manage a restaurant, right? And, like, shift work and all that stuff, and what goes right, what goes good. It's like, as a supervisor and, like, a CEO, like, people are doing, like, okay, we need people on this post and these numbers and looking at all this, and it's like, okay, but in the same time, like, on a business mindset, it's like, all right, sales aren't going good. What can we do? What promotion can we give? How much % off we can do? Like, use, like, the strength you get in this job, which is a lot of different life abilities. We wear many hats. Use that into something else, and just believe in yourself, because you'll be, like, blown away, right? Where you can do other jobs, and it's not police work or tactical work or security work, and you'll be like, oh wow, I didn't know I was good at this. Yeah, because for 15 and 20 years, you learned how to be there for people, show up for yourself, show up for your family, and listen and make other people's lives better. And a lot of people forget that.
Yeah. They only look at the one enforcement side, which is a whole other thing. Listen, enforcing the law is like 1/100th of what cops are. It really is. And that's the only thing that they look for. And unfortunately, like, I was one of those people too who was just caught in that arrest the bad guy, you know, like, and they think that's what it's all about. But meanwhile, like,
I might blanking on the name. I'm thinking about the two cops from Superbad.
Oh, yeah.
That's so funny.
But most of what police work is talking to people and, like, solving problems, man. Investigate, like, solving problems. Communication, man. Communication and problem solving is really what it's like to be. Compassion, like, is really what it's like to be. Dude, guidance counselor, like, just somebody.
But at the same time, there's over 300 units on this job. So go back to school. The NYPD loves people with master's degrees and doctoral degrees. Yeah. They do. Like, go back, learn how to do something, and apply. And apply and apply. And you know what? If they don't take you, they don't take you. But now you have another skill. Okay? Yeah. And it gives you a better chance to maybe get off patrol. Or to so many people I speak to, it's like, oh, I'm just fuck patrol. I'm stuck on patrol. Blah, 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 blah. All right, well, how many units have you applied to? 3. Oh, great. When was the last, how long ago? 5 years ago. Yeah. That's the answer, man.
And it would be like, no, it would be. And it would be like, I applied 5 years ago when I had 3 years on, 10 collars, and I applied for, like, drug enforcement task force. You know, you're like, wait, what? That's a federal agent. Like, you like, right? Listen, I know. Listen, it's easier said than done. It is hard. It is hard sometimes to move on to this job, but, like, you have to also be willing to do sometimes some things that you might not see yourself doing. Like, I never saw myself doing this shit that I'm doing now, ever, dude, ever.
Right.
So, you know, and, like, take the opportunities. One thing I never did in the police department was say no. So I never knew what I was going to do as a cop until, like, I used to make arrests, like, when I worked midnights, like, essentially just because I was the young guy and, like, that's what I did. And then my CO asked me, like, hey, do you want to go to conditions? And I was just like, I just had this mindset was I was always just not going to say no. So I was like, yeah, sure, I'll do that. Yeah, sure, I'll do whatever. Yeah. Same thing now, bro. Like, and this is just applies to my personal life too. Somebody will ask me to do something that I don't want to do that makes me feel uncomfortable and nervous, and I'll be like, yeah, I'll do that.
Yeah.
Like, that's what happened with the retreats.
The yoga. That's literally what I was thinking in my mind. The yoga, the retreat, and fit for duty.
All those things.
All things make you that uncomfortable.
All those things make me uncomfortable, and I just go, yeah, whatever, we'll do it. Fuck it, we'll do it. We'll figure it out. We'll do it live, Tom.
Yeah, we'll do it live.
We'll do it live. I just crossed 2 things. But we have a couple minutes left here, so I just want to get into what are some things that you want people to know if they're going through a rough time right now. Like, what can they do right now if they're going through a rough time?
Right now, in this present moment. Man. Number 1, you know what I'm going to say. Look at your feet. Look down at your feet. Ground yourself. All right, I'm here. I'm in Long Island. I'm in Massapequa. I don't even know the address. I should know. I'm not tactically sound, but I'm here. And today is Saturday, and it's the 2nd, right? Yep. 1:52 in the afternoon, 13:52. Never lived this day before. Never been on a podcast like this with Aaron before, but I'm having a great time, and this is what matters right now. I don't know what's going outside right now. I don't even care. I know that I'm safe. I know we're having a good conversation, and I know that this table is real. Aaron's wearing a green shirt, and I'm wearing also an olive green shirt, right? That's what's real. That's number 1, just to ground yourself. And if you're going through a hard time, you have to be honest with yourself, man. And you can't run from it, and you can't make up the excuses. And people might be like, oh, they're not excuses. But, like, you have to be honest with yourself and say, I am struggling really because of this, and that. And a lot of it is a struggle is, like, not being where we want to be, but then also live like the future, right? And then also in the past of, like, not letting ourselves let go of choices we made in the past, right? Very tough, very, very, very tough. Kind of sound like Yoda right now. But once you're able to get back into the present moment, and if you're going through a hard time, like, you really have to talk about it. You have to get a professional. Friends are great too. Be careful with family and friends and people. Be very careful on what you tell certain things, right? Because it might not end up just, like, triggering you. I think that's very important too, is the people you share deep, dark, let's say, secrets, or go through the labyrinth with, like, just choose them wisely. Because people might also not have good advice. Like, dude, you're fine. Like, you know, You only drink 10 beers a week. Not a
Yeah.
big deal. Like, oh, okay, like that's enabling, you know, like things like that. But just to know that like it will get better if you allow yourself to get better. And it can also get worse if you allow it to get worse. See, it's the power of perception. It's the power of our mind. It's the power of choice. It's the power of choosing to suffer or not. It's the power of choosing to let go. And it's not means it can all happen right now in the present moment. But just like anything else, right? You have to break down a muscle to get bigger and to get stronger. Same thing with that trauma. Same thing with the anxiety, right? You have to break it down. And in this point, you break it down so your resiliency and your choices of not suffering get stronger. That's how I kind of look at it. Because that trauma, and over one word, but our past it's gone already. But our mind likes to hold on to it. It's never really gone. So we have to accept to live with it and say, you know what? I'm still here. I made it through that hard shit. And the beauty of it is if someone goes through similar experience, I could be there for them. I can help them champion their journey. I could be on the hero journey and the hero path with them. But the more that we hold things in, it's just like a balloon or a shadow over our shoulder, the shadow bag. The more we stuff our shadow bag and it gets bigger and bigger and darker, it's only a matter of time until it breaks. And my mom always used to say to me, you play, you pay. I told you so. Yeah. So it depends how much we want to keep playing. Because there's only so much in our life that our spirit, our physical body, and our mind, right? We always talk about this too. Where is our mind different than our brain, or is it together? Like, where's our mind, right? I believe it's different, right? Can take.
Yeah.
We're not fucking superheroes, man. We're not fucking the Punisher. We're not the Avenger. We're not Captain America's shield, right? No, we're fucking human beings. And we get through each day. We choose each day. Are we surviving or not? You know? And right now, we're survivors, man, and we're more than that.
And take one day at a time, right?
That's it, man. That's why this tattoo's right here. I'm like, it's hard to see. ODAT, one day at a time, right here. I fucking stamped it on my arm. I still need the reminder. This life, man, this shit is fucking tough. But if you're listening to this podcast right now, you're doing a lot better than what you think, than other people, man.
Yeah.
A lot of people out there are suffering.
For sure.
You know, and a lot of people are hurting. And if you're doing great and you're not suffering, fucking keep going. I hope you don't ever have to suffer. But if you are suffering, know that there is a light at the end of the tunnel and you can get out of that well. And sometimes when you're in the bottom of that well, you have to yell up. And I promise you, and this is what we talked about too, people talk about, oh, there's not enough resources out there. That's fucking bullshit. There's so many resources across the country that will help you.
Insane amount.
You just have to remember to switch the light on. Get through the darkness. The switch is literally always there. And it might be a small little switch, but then the light will get bigger and bigger and bigger. And that little switch, like when the light gets bigger, that means our choices and our habits and our behavior. And then that doesn't just take a day or a week or 2 weeks. And I still go to meetings all the time.
Yeah. So where can everybody find you?
Well, my address is reps_4_responders, reps4responders.org. We're actually fixing up our website. We're on Facebook, reps4responders@gmail.com. If anyone wants to come to our responder talk, let us know. Reach out to me, active, retired, first responder, military personnel. We have these 2 big events coming up in April. We're doing bringing back Fit for Duty again in May. And we have some gym events and the usual stuff planned out. So if anyone has any questions or anything, or just wants to curse me off, call me drunk, whatever you want to say, message me from that fake Punisher account. Reach out. You know, we're here to help you the best that we can. And if I can't help you, I will try to lead you to someone else that can. But yeah, win. What's important now?
What's important now? Thanks, Frank. I appreciate having you
here.
here.
Man. Thanks for having me in the labyrinth, bro.
Take care.
Bye now.
Bye. All right.